Have you ever wondered why some men disappear from a woman's thoughts almost as quickly as they entered her life, while others leave behind a feeling that remains long after the relationship is over? It isn't always about his appearance. It isn't about having the best jokes, the most money, or saying all the perfect things. Sometimes what stays is simply the way he made her feel. Many men spend their lives reacting to what happens around them. They look for approval, try too hard to impress, explain themselves unnecessarily, and constantly worry about whether they are being chosen. But a man who follows Stoic principles lives differently. He doesn't need to perform for attention. He doesn't change himself just to receive validation. He knows who he is, understands what matters to him, and quietly continues walking his path. And that kind of inner stability can leave a powerful impression. So let's explore 6 qualities that can make a man deeply memorable. Number 1, he knows how to control his emotions. Think about what happens when someone feels rejected, criticized, or disrespected. Many people immediately react. Their voice becomes louder, arguments begin, they start defending themselves and desperately trying to prove their value, but a disciplined man pauses. He takes a breath. He observes what is happening before deciding how to respond. Marcus Aurelius taught that we have control over our minds, even when we cannot control everything happening around us. That principle becomes powerful when you actually live by it. Imagine someone says something intentionally hurtful just to see how you will react. Instead of becoming angry, you remain calm. You might simply say, "I understand." Then you continue with your day. That doesn't mean you're weak. It means you refuse to surrender control of yourself to someone else's behavior. Emotional stability can create a sense of peace. And when someone associates your presence with peace instead of unnecessary conflict, that feeling can stay with them. Number 2, he listens. Instead of constantly trying to be heard, everyone wants to speak. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone wants to explain their side of the story. But genuine listening has become surprisingly rare. A Stoic man doesn't listen simply because he's waiting for his turn to talk. He listens to understand. When she is speaking, he isn't mentally preparing his next argument or searching for the perfect response. He is actually present. That presence communicates something powerful. Your words matter enough for me to slow down and listen. Being genuinely understood is a rare experience. People may forget an ordinary conversation, but they often remember the person who made them feel heard. Real connection isn't always created through talking more. Sometimes it begins with paying closer attention. Number 3, he knows when to walk away with dignity. The way a person handles an ending reveals a lot about their character. When someone is rejected, some men beg for another chance, demand explanations, become angry, or try desperately to change the other person's decision. A grounded man understands something different. He knows that another person's choice does not determine his worth. If someone decides to leave, he can simply say, "I wish you well," and then he lets them go. No revenge, no unnecessary drama, no attempts to punish them for their decision. Walking away doesn't mean the relationship meant nothing. It means you understand that you cannot force someone to stay. And sometimes the strongest thing a person can do is accept an ending without destroying their own dignity. You don't have to lose yourself just because someone else chooses a different path. Number 4, his life has a purpose beyond romance. A man's entire identity should never depend on one person. He should have goals. He should have responsibilities. He should be building something meaningful and working toward becoming a better version of himself. A Stoic man's life has direction. He may deeply care about someone, but he doesn't abandon his entire purpose just to receive attention. Epictetus taught that personal growth often requires being willing to be misunderstood by others. And that's an important lesson. Not everyone will understand your goals. Not everyone will agree with your choices. But if you know where you're going, you don't need everyone else's approval to keep moving. A man with purpose doesn't make someone else the center of his entire universe. He creates a meaningful life and allows relationships to become part of that life rather than the only reason for living. And that kind of independence can create genuine respect. Number 5, his presence creates calm instead of chaos. Home relationships are built around constant emotional intensity, jealousy, arguments, suspicion, drama. One moment everything feels perfect, and the next moment everything becomes a conflict. But emotional maturity looks different. A calm man doesn't turn every disagreement into a battle. He doesn't treat every misunderstanding as a personal attack. His presence can feel like taking a deep breath after a long and exhausting day. Around him, people can relax. They don't constantly have to wonder when the next argument will begin. He creates room for honesty, peace, and emotional stability. And over time, people may begin to associate his presence with that sense of calm. Excitement can disappear. Emotional highs can fade. But genuine peace has a way of becoming deeply valuable. Number 6. He knows how to forgive without becoming bitter. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. Forgiving someone doesn't mean saying that their behavior was acceptable. It doesn't mean forgetting what happened. And it doesn't mean allowing the same person to hurt you again. Forgiveness means refusing to let the past control your present. A strong man doesn't spend his life planning revenge. He doesn't need to spread rumors or constantly explain how badly someone treated him. He learns the lesson, protects his boundaries, and continues forward. Marcus Aurelius expressed a powerful idea. The best response to someone who wrongs you is to refuse to become like them. That is one of the deepest ideas behind Stoicism. Master yourself instead of trying to control everyone around you. So let's put all 6 qualities together. A memorable man is not necessarily the loudest man in the room. He is the man who stays composed when things become difficult. He listens when others only want to speak. He can walk away without destroying his dignity. He has a purpose that exists beyond attention and validation. He brings a sense of calm instead of unnecessary chaos. And he can forgive without carrying bitterness everywhere he goes. His strength doesn't need to announce itself. It can be quiet, it can be steady. It can come from knowing exactly who he is and what kind of man he wants to become. He doesn't waste his life trying to control how everyone sees him. Instead, he focuses on controlling what is actually within his power. His choices, his actions, his reactions, and his character. And perhaps that's why certain people remain in our memories long after the conversations have ended. The messages disappear, the details become blurry, the emotions eventually settle, but the feelings someone created in our lives can remain. She may remember the man who didn't lose himself while trying to win her, the man who chose peace instead of unnecessary pride, purpose instead of constant attention, wisdom instead of impulsive reactions, and self-respect instead of desperation. That is what quiet strength looks like. If this message connected with you, take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who might need to hear it, and subscribe to the channel for more lessons on Stoicism, emotional strength, self-mastery, and personal growth. And if you've stayed until the very end, leave a comment saying, "I finished the lesson," because real transformation begins when we stop trying to control everyone else and start mastering ourselves. Thank you for watching. Stay calm, stay grounded, keep your values close, and continue walking your path with quiet confidence. Iskay tamnal, kois taraka honchaya.